Well, when asked how he went bankrupt, a Hemingway character famously said two ways: gradually, then suddenly. That principle of gradually, then suddenly happens in far more than just failures. As Pastor Mark Batterson says, it's also the key to success in every area of our lives.
Pastor Mark Batterson has led National Community Church in Washington nearly 30 years. By age 35, Mark had read an astounding 3,000 books. He's since written 26 of his own, including many New York Times bestsellers. As the church grew to 7,000 people and a wide array of outreaches, Mark learned valuable lessons about growth. His new book, Gradually Then Suddenly, inspires us to achieve worthy goals that honor God and others.
Well, Mark Batterson is with us live right now via Zoom. Welcome back to the show, Mark. We always love having you.
Hey, it's always a joy. Thanks so much.
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, this book, this new book, came together in just a few months, but in another sense, it's been decades in the making. How did the theme of gradually, then suddenly really show up in your own process of writing it? But also, I would love to know maybe what are some other gradually, then suddenlies that have happened in your life?
Yeah, well, I felt called to write at 22, but I didn't write a book until 35. And I have to say, my birthday became an annual reminder of a dream deferred. I was so frustrated, but in retrospect, I'm glad I didn't write a book at 22, because I would have had to write a book at 23 to retract what I said at 22. God was working a process, and he who begins a good work carries it to completion. And so I just had to keep reading and reverse engineering those 3,000 books, figure out how to find my own voice. And then and only then was I ready for that first book to be written.
I love that. By the way, I believe it is your birthday today, correct?
It is my birthday today.
Okay, well, happy birthday. Of course, we had to say that. A little birdie told me before I went on air today, so I was like, of course I'm going to mention it. Happy birthday, and thank you so much for being with us on your birthday. But I would love to ask you, you say big visions start with cathedral thinking. What does that mean, and how can we really cultivate that?
Well, a great example of cathedral thinking would be the cathedral in Cologne, Germany, that took more than 600 years to build. I think sometimes we want things to happen at the speed of light, but in the kingdom of God, they generally happen at the speed of a seed that has to take root before it can bear fruit. And what we have to learn to do is play the long game. We're going to overestimate what we can do in a week or a month or a year, but we're going to underestimate what God can do in 10 or 20 or 30.
Yeah, that's powerful. Well, you write that every idea is born twice, and you point to Disneyland as an example. What can we learn from that?
Well, if you visit Disneyland, in a sense, you're walking around Walt Disney's imagination. And so the first creation always happens internally. It's inspiration. It happens in the imagination, which is part of the Imago Dei. It's the way that God created us. With the capacity to architect cities and code software and land a man on the moon. But then that second creation, you have to take those thoughts captive, 2 Corinthians 10:5, and make them obedient to Christ. I would suggest that's the incarnation. That's the Missio Dei. And this is the way that God created us. So everything is created twice.
Yeah, that's so good. Well, what is the power of the same, and how does it lead to improvement in our lives?
Well, I'm a big believer. If you keep doing the right things day in and day out, God is going to show up and show off his faithfulness. You know, the key to spiritual growth is routine. And you have to practice these daily spiritual disciplines. The good news is the only ceiling on your intimacy with God and impact on the world is daily spiritual disciplines. You keep practicing those things, and some amazing things can happen, but it will take time. It'll take patience and time, and usually takes longer than we like. It's harder than we hope for. But at the end of the day, that's how you hear those words, well done, good and faithful servant.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, people may feel stuck in the gradual phase, like they're doing the grunt work and not really seeing the results. They're getting kind of worn down in the everyday mundane. What encouragement would you give to those who are just feeling burdened in that gradual phase?
Yeah, it can be frustrating. First thing I would say is let's try to enjoy the journey, every age, every stage, whether you're a parent listening and you're busy changing diapers or you're pursuing that God-sized dream. I would remind us, by definition, a God-sized dream is beyond your ability, beyond your resources, beyond your education. You can't do it, but God can. And the key is sticking with it. What if those Israelites had stopped circling Jericho on day 6? Well, they would have forfeited the miracle a day before it happened. So just a little reminder, a black belt is a white belt that never quit. And so I think it's an encouragement to keep asking, keep seeking, keep knocking. And that really is at the heart of what this book is about.
Yeah, it really is. Well, what would you also say to someone who feels like they just don't have time for the gradual part? Like, how can they still build something that lasts?
Well, at the risk of stepping on toes, the average person spends 2 hours and 24 minutes on social media.
Yeah.
You can accomplish a lot of things if you steward that time, leverage that time. And honestly, the goal isn't even the goal. It's who you become in the process. It's becoming more and more like Jesus. Is going from strength to strength. Psalm 84, it's going from glory to glory. It's this transformation that happens from the inside out. But I think God tends to make big people with big dreams. Show me the size of your dream, I'll show you the size of your God.
Yeah, I love that. Well, sometimes when following God, I would say many times, God is asking us to do big things and to take bold steps and to take risks. How do we live in that balance sometimes of between patience and urgency? Because sometimes we just want the now. We want the big dream now. But as you talk about in the book, it's very much a gradual process. So we have to be patient. How do we balance between the two?
Well, I would remind us that God is responsible for the outcome, not us. What we have to focus on is consecrating ourselves, time, talent, treasure to the Lord. And Joshua 3:5, consecrate yourselves. And God says, I will do amazing things among you. So I cannot move mountains, but I can plant mustard seeds of faith, and God can move mountains. And on that subject, I would also say there comes a moment where you've got to stop talking to God about the mountain and start talking to the mountain about God. You've got to begin to declare his character, his promises, his power, his love, his grace. And I think that's the way that Jesus wants us to live our lives. Playing offense, playing the long game, long vision, long obedience in the same direction. And that's what nets that long legacy.
Yeah, last question, Mark. You know, if Gradually then suddenly had one core challenge for the reader, something that they can do and start today, what would that be?
Well, I might start with the end in mind, that legacy is not what you accomplish. Legacy is what others accomplish because of you. Yeah. So very few people will influence 1 million people, but we can influence one person. And I'm talking to moms and dads, teachers and coaches. Like, we can influence one person who might influence 1 million people. So I think this book will help us kind of recapture some of the big picture that gets lost because these news cycles come fast and furious, and we can lose a little bit of perspective. Let's keep playing that long game.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for being with us today. And I want to let everyone know Mark Batterson's book is a powerful reminder that success doesn't happen overnight. And it's called Gradually, Then Suddenly. And you can find it wherever books are sold. And again, happy birthday. We are so grateful for you, your ministry, and all that you're doing for the kingdom of heaven.
Thanks so much. God
Yes,
bless.
of course.
Mark, I got to join in with that. So happy birthday to you. If we can get them back on the screen, I don't know if we can do a split shot with this two-shot, but I just want to sing happy birthday to you on the 700 Club. So Ashley and I are going to join together.
Oh, my goodness.
You
Okay.
ready? You
All
want to
right.
do this? All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mark. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Yes, many
Oh,
more.
man,
Thanks
you
for
guys
being with
could
us
go
on
on
your
the
special.
road. You could go on the road.
I don't know about that. Thank you so much, Mark.
I don't think the recording contract is coming anytime soon. But maybe gradually, and then
Yeah.
suddenly it'll happen.
There we go.
All
There
right,
you
we
go.
got to keep practicing.
Yes,
All
absolutely.
right.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank
God
you, Mark.
bless you.